All right, everybody, we are back again for another episode of the Coach's Compass. Again, remember, I don't know what episode it is. I just continue to record, continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world. Now, remember, hit that like, subscribe, comment button down below so you can continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world and continue to have this thing grow. Now, I've got another special guest with me today. I got Coach Kofi here with me. He's a personal trainer and corporate trainer and a whole bunch of other things. But most importantly, father and a husband. Coach, thank you and welcome to the Coach's Compass. And I know we talked a little bit off camera about what all you do, and I'm going to let you explain your background a little bit better than I can.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you inviting me to come speak and super excited. But I told you I have a hard time with like titles and whatnot. At the end of the day, I'm a sports performance coach through and through. But I learned years ago that man, I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't like that my main clientele were, young high school athletes that don't have jobs. That just I got tired of dealing with parents and doing the packages and all that. So I was like, listen, man, my passion and my purpose is definitely serving athletes, but I was like, I need to find a more sustainable 9 to 5 so I can just be free to go serve those kids in those communities. And so I switched up probably like 7 years ago and started training corporate executives and people in corporate America because I found out they have that same thought process and mindset as the athletes that I'm working with, just not the same level of athletic performance. And so it was really an easy switch. And so, yeah, I train corporate folks by day. And then in the mornings or at night, I work with probably like maybe 4 to 6 athletes a year that I invest all my time into and get it popping in the morning and night. So it's kind of like a good, happy balance of, very purposeful work that I'm called to. And then also, that stuff that's really just my 9 to 5.
Yeah. And I think the other hard part is I know yourself, you were a former athlete, right? What was it
Right.
like to let go of being an athlete to now coaching athletes and then coaching people in the corporate world that you say have that athletic mindset, but not so much the athletic ability? Like, what was it like to kind of say no longer I'm no longer an athlete. I'm like full-time coach.
Yeah. It was actually a lot smoother transition when I got into coaching, because at that point I'd already wrestled with the fact that um, my demons got the best of me as an athlete, and that was the reason why my career ended so early. And I think once I was able to reconcile those things with God and realize that, I can't have self-pity the rest of my life or woulda, coulda, shoulda, and oh, I wish this would have panned out. And so instead, being able to lead with what led to my demise, has led to a bunch of my athletes being super successful in the areas that I was not. And so to me, it was a really great transition of just being vulnerable with all my athletes and why it didn't work out with me, and basically just trying to fill those gaps and kind of be the advocate that I don't feel like I had in my corner during my career, having the right conversations with me, getting me to think and process certain things. And so it's been really fulfilling. It's been really awesome because like I said, I don't shy away from why it didn't work for me. And I think due to that, like I said, my kids are having conversations that, I think most athletes aren't having till their career's over. We're having those, when you're in eighth grade, when you're in 10th grade, 11th grade. So we're just already kind of creating the conversation about life after sport, just because I always humor every kid. I'm like, let's just say you play 8 years in the NFL. You're gonna be 30 years old when when you're done. Like, dude, I'm 33. I'm like, I'm just getting it popping. Like, life is, you know what I'm saying? Like, so let's say, yeah, you play 8 years, cool. Can we talk about what else you might be interested after the sport's over? Um, it's honestly it's been fun. I'm so grateful that it got to be my career. It was really just what was next. I thought it was just going to be for a season. I never wanted to be a coach. I didn't go to school to be a coach. I just got a call from Brandon Marshall in 2014. He's like, "You want to build me a gym?" And I'm like, "Sure." I'm depressed and at home and have no idea what I'm about to do with my life. This seems cool, And fast forward 10 years later, it's like, cool, this like feeds my family. Like, this is pretty sick.
So were you part of the Fit Speed in Chicago?
Yeah, I opened the one in Chicago. Yeah.
It's a super small world because I trained at the Fit Speed in Weston when I was coming out for the
Okay.
NFL.
Same.
Yeah, yeah.
What
I was there in 2015 because we're both same age.
I was there? Damn. So you were there in 2015. I was training there in 2014.
So you came out a year before me.
Yes, I was in Weston doing the combine prep with Matt Gates and them in 2014. That's
With Matt Gates,
crazy. You
that's
were there in
now at
2015.
XPE. Wow, look at that, man. Small world.
Yeah,
Well, that's crazy, man. So
bro. So
yeah, yeah, it's wild how the football world is all connected and stuff. Because when you said Brandon Marshall, I'm like, man, like I was working with like I saw Brandon come in all the time, bring Ocho down there in Weston and all that stuff. Like all the boys used to
yep.
pull up. Yeah, but with those conversations that you have with your athletes, how tough is it to to get them to think about, this life after football. Because we think about it like for ourselves, like we know our demise. Like, hey, we only had plan A. Plan A was
Right.
football, and that like we'd make it at football, and that's it. Like, we didn't know that there was going to be a life after the sport, right? We didn't want to think about it because we thought, hey, we're going to have like a 10+ year career, like, and we're going to make millions of money,
Right.
and like we're gonna be set for life. Not knowing that there's other things going on. So how hard is it to have those conversations and like kind of get those kids to understand that like there is a next step?
Yeah, I think that like I said, I've learned over the years. I used to be pretty more abrasive, I guess, with it. Of like you need to like think about your life after sport and look at me and how I did it and look how it turned out for me. You better not be like, and that I've learned working with people in general. You got to speak for yourself, don't nobody like being preached to. And so me leading with, I have lots of hobbies, lots of very crafty things that I'm into. My athletes and my clients know that I'm, big into coffee, big into bourbon, cigars, art, cook every day. Like, so they already know I'm a passion hobby kind of person. And so, it's very authentic for me to ask an athlete like, oh, what else are you into outside of football? That's really where it starts at. Just like baseline, not, hey, when your career ends, it's just kind of what are you into outside of training, studying your playbook, being the captain of your high school team, or for instance, Jaden Reed, what else, bro, are you into outside of just like being an NFL wide receiver, training, hanging out with your girl, enjoying your new home? To me, that's just kind of where it starts of like, getting them to articulate or getting them to notice like, damn, I don't really do shit outside of football. And and then it's just kind of like a shit. Well, maybe you should like kind of explore that. You know what I'm saying? So I like to start there, but then for the kids who are really receptive to the conversation and kind of hop on like, damn, you're right, coach. I'm like Peyton Thorne, for example, we've been talking about real estate for probably 7 years to the point where he is now connected. He uses connections at Auburn to meet the real estate people from the Booster Club. And in Chicago, he's got, now he's rubbing shoulders with big developers and people in real estate. Whole time, he is 100% focused on making the roster with the Bengals right now. That to me, that he has the probably one of the healthiest balances on it, where it's like it's all football right now. All football. That's his dream. That's what he's going after. But like a guy that's interested in things, he's just like, yeah, I'm just connecting with people and having conversations and learning about the market and learning about this. At the end of the day, it's every kid is different. Not everyone's ready to really think about that or to even really pursue that. So sometimes it's just planting the seed of asking a question like, what do you do outside of football? And it's that blank stare, and it's kind of like, that's enough for right now. You're probably going to sit and think about that for like a couple weeks, and hopefully you do figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to think about. I mean, we got to think about when we were their age, like 16, 17, 18 years old. Like, hey, coach, like, I ain't trying to think about it that much. Like, I'm trying to play ball. I'm trying to make the team. Like, I'm trying to be out here. I'm trying to get a scholarship. But it's the reality that it does happen to end at a certain
Right.
point for everybody. And there's got to be other things that you got to do outside of it. Like, there's got to be other fun things to take your mind off of. You can be 100% focused. That's not to say that you don't go all in on football or whatever your sport is. But
Right.
there's other things to do with the 24 hours in the day, right? Like find something else to explore.
And I think that football culture, and it was like this probably when you came up too, since we're in the same era. I remember like we couldn't even choose certain majors at our college if it meant that like the labs and everything would maybe, rub right up against when we had to be here or there, or if they thought that it would take too much real estate or whatever in your mind. I remember a coach saying like, "Hey," to a kid that was trying to like YouTube back then. It was like, "Yo, if you got time to be doing all that after football, like you're not going hard enough at football." And like in
Right.
hindsight, I'm like, that's so fucked up. Like just because he's like trying to develop and build something outside of this place, I remember like back in the day that was like taboo. It's like there's no way you're applying yourself and going hard if you got energy for anything else.
There should be no
And
way that you could
so
have an internship or study abroad or anything. Like what?
right, right. Or you're not serious about this game, and honestly, you're about to stop playing. We're gonna let that dude play in front of you now to teach you a
You
lesson.
might as well
Like,
just
stop
get be
with
a
that
walk
weird
on.
stuff.
Yeah, you be a walk on and let's give somebody else a scholarship and let them enjoy the spot that you were taking and aren't serious about now. So like just step away for a little bit. Yeah, I remember those. You know what I mean? Like even when you wanted to, I think it was because I started off at Wake Forest and I transferred to Charlotte, but even if you wanted to go like into the medical studies or too hard of like business major or
Yeah.
anything like that, they were like, "Oh no, like you can't do that and play
Yeah.
football at the same time." Like, nah, go ahead, sociology, communications, hey, whatever
Go
the
ahead and get
easy.
that communications joint.
Yeah,
Come on this way, man.
we know we can put you in study hall. Like you would have tutors. Like you'll be fine. Like you got plenty of time and you won't miss too many classes.
Facts, bro. Facts, man. But it's thank God it's changing, and that's why I do like NIL because just a lot of the weird, I'm gonna call it religiosity. To me, it's weird shit that I see in the church, and I am the biggest Bible thumping Christian on the planet. So don't get me wrong. It's just I'm calling out what it is. Those weird customs and things that are not biblical and have nothing to do with God and has nothing to do with being in Him. It's the same thing to me for that old school football culture where like just because you're a freshman, don't speak, or just because you're a football player, like nah, you can't go have other interests, and it's like you gotta just be dead every day. You gotta be, at least for us back in it, bro, we was just like you just play football, go home, eat, play the game, go to sleep, go back to practice,
Repeat
recover,
all
eat,
the
go
time.
home, play the game. Like, and I'm glad that it's changing with NIL and that guys are actually becoming professionals at a younger age and realizing that I am my own business and we work together. And because of that, I don't have to agree or subscribe to a lot of that old weird shit. It's like, nah, if we want to do business together, this is how I do business. We can agree and we can meet on that.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think so. It's funny because I'm in the South, right? So NIL, like SEC schools have tons of money for NIL, and it's great. But you've got the old school people out there that hate NIL because you're a football player, you're an athlete, you're getting your school paid for, you should be happy to be there and all that stuff. But in the reality, like what
Yeah.
they don't understand how much like athletes put into it and how much athletes give up to be an athlete for the school and how much money the school is making off an athlete and how much they sacrifice. So it's funny to hear like somebody from the
Yeah.
outside, one of us from the outside, old school, because I wish I was in right now. Like the money that they're making, my
Right.
goodness, man, what? Like I wish I got the
And how
opportunity to
could
make the
you
type of money.
I don't know. I love when, even my dad was like, "Oh, it's too much. Kofi, they're already getting so much and da da da." This time, bro, you just hating. There's no rational explanation other than you hating because why not? We're talking about dudes that have come from nothing, coming into freshman year making 250 grand a year. Freshman, entry level. What? Yes. Now let's get, hopefully the right team around him and all that. But it's like, bro, I'm not trying to block no man from getting paid off of his work. And because when I played and when you played, after taxes, that monthly stipend that I got to live as a college athlete working 35 to 40 hours a week was $937. My rent was 600. My bills all in all were like 120. I think I had like $150 maybe every month. And that was enough to like get McDonald's like once a week, maybe twice, like get a couple drinks if we go out, maybe.
You
But
better hope you
really, like,
go to the bar that they love the football players so you can get some free drinks.
come on now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
And outside of that, bro, I'm wearing team issued. I got the same couple Ralph Lauren polos, but it wasn't glamorous.
At all. At all. Sometimes in the summer you even take a bartending job or work in security so you can make some extra money. Right? And then you still gotta write that off at the school and let them know exactly where you're working at because you don't want compliance to come by and get you in trouble because
Compliance, boy.
what? Always something, man.
Yeah,
It's just
so
like
I
who you guys checking on? Like why are you worried about me making money in the summer? Like even if I am signing jerseys or signing cards or whatever, it's my name. Like what's the problem with
Right.
it?
Yeah, so I'm definitely of the camp that, hey, while I do know it's maybe like the wild west right now, it's new. I'm still like, this is we're going in the right direction. And I think it blesses the athletes, and I think it's fair. And I don't know how anybody could like have any other opinion other than that. Because it's just like it was almost like one of my clients like, I don't think the CEO of this company should be able to make 58 million a year. It's like, doesn't really matter what you think. Like the board voted for that shit. Like what you act like he got CEO and like named his own salary. Like the board like we're talking about a publicly traded company that's been around for 50 years. It doesn't matter if you and I think that's a lot of money or too much or man, this should go to the people. Like
No, it ain't
I don't know
going to
what to
them.
tell you, man. It should go to him if that's what everybody says. The money should go to the players if that's what we're saying now. So I'm with it.
I mean, there's been so many fights over the year to try to get people to get paid legally, right? Obviously, there's the money that will happen underneath the table and everything like that, and people that got like Reggie Bush, the whole situation with that. Luckily, he was able to get his Heisman Trophy back. But I mean, at the end of the day,
Crazy.
like
Seriously.
at the end of the day, they'll figure out, right? Yes, they might say it's the Wild West right now. Usually, a lot of things start off that way, and they've got to be fixed down
Right.
the road. So it'll happen. But as we continue to go on, man, what's the one moment in your coaching career that you kind of realized and reminded you why you started and why you got into coaching?
I would say there was two. One was when Jaden Reed got drafted, and we're in Florida at the draft party, and they called out his name on the thing, and we're all there, and it was supernatural. That was the first kid that I met when he was 15, 16 years old, and that I had just like we had been together for 7, 8 years. And it all led to this moment, where I remember taking him to a restaurant called Standard Market in Naperville when he was a senior in high school. And, he had lost his dad freshman year of high school. So, like, I remember just like I've always felt like, my purpose, I do have a gifting with mentoring young men and being able to, in my opinion, like share and lead and kind of come over them without any type of motive. And so we set his goals for freshman year, and he's like, yeah, I want to, hopefully get on the field, and I want to definitely play some special teams. And I remember sitting there like, what you talking about, man? I said, you don't want to start? He's like, of course I want to start. And I was like, well, why wouldn't that be a goal of yours? And he was just kind of like, well, I know it's what I want, but I'm just trying to be realistic. Like a lot of true freshmen don't play like this and that. And I'm just like, we had the biggest conversation, man, of like, it's not about what's realistic and all that. What do you want to happen? Ideally, what do you want to happen? Let's put that down. Okay. And we'll work from there. And sure enough, he was a freshman All-American. Freshman All-American out of Western Michigan. His best friend, Peyton Thorne, who I talked about earlier, ends up decommitting from Western Michigan and commits to Michigan State. I called him, put it in his ear. I'm like, you want to go to Michigan State? He said, you think I can play in the Big Ten? It's like, hell yeah, you can play in the Big Ten. I said, bigger question is, would you want to play at Michigan State if they wanted you to play at Michigan State? He's like, of course I want to play at Michigan State. And it's like, okay. He goes to Michigan State, sits out a whole year, and just starts popping off and doing his thing. And then it came to him wanting to leave after that big blockbuster year. He was projected first, second, third round. Personally felt like he shouldn't go. That the draft was pretty wide receiver heavy. Also, a couple of injuries at that time that he wouldn't have been able to train during the combine process. praise God, man. He comes back another year, has half the production. I think he only had I think Jay Reed made it maybe had only 550 yards his senior year at Michigan State and was still the 50th overall pick in the NFL draft. 50th pick, went to Green Bay. And like I said, I just remember being in that room and seeing his family and his mom and it was just like it's like, dude, this is what it's all about right here. You know what I'm saying? Like this is probably one of the best human beings that I know. And like he was faithful, he believed, he the hardest worker, and like it happened for him. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely was like such a special moment. And I would say the other one was just when I used a school called Simeon Career Academy. It's where Derrick Rose went. And I reached out to their school. I just felt like God was calling me to go out there and help out and to kind of like prove my value that I can come into your program and uplift it. And head coach gave me the keys to the team for a whole year. Took them through all my off-season stuff, all my summer workouts. And then was, with him, I was assistant head coach at the school, running all the practices. And we went and won the Prep Bowl championship, which is like for CPS, it's like the state championship versus the
Right.
private school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm working with a team that doesn't have a locker room, gets dressed every day outside, cold. I'm talking about literally, you walk out of school, you go to the field, like you taking your pants off, like getting dressed like for practice outside. You just leave your shit on the turf and like you just like
What?
I've never seen nothing like what's going on the south side of Chicago. Never seen nothing like it. But to like watch these boys buy in, become a team, start learning how to respect one another, learn how to communicate with one another, and then getting to the place where we put together, we only lost one game. We went like 14-1. Insane. And so like that was another one walking away from that. I'm just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like once again, like this is definitely what I'm made for and what I'm called to. And I just love this shit. I love watching young men grow up in a healthy way and live well. That's my guys know I preach that all the time. I just want you to live well. You know what I'm saying? I want your heart to be clean. I want you to be able to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? I want you to find life in the day because life is not about football. Football for us is just the vehicle. You don't know how long until it's going to ask you to get out. But while you're in it, take advantage of being in the vehicle and all the places that you're going to go and the people you're going to meet and the access to resources and whatnot. But just know one day you're going to have to hop out. Best believe you better have a lot of shit with you that you got. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the metaphor that I try to use with my kids.
I love it, coach. I love it. Now, before we get out of here, last thing I want to ask you, would you want to be coached by you?
What? 1,000%.
Hell
No
yeah.
question. No question at all, man. I wish I had me. I say that with the most humble heart. I wish I had a me. Because like I said, the reason why I had such a bad fall off was nobody in my household, nobody in my family, nobody at the school ever really talked to me about life after football until football was done. And that's just a little too late. You know what it's like. You come
No.
back home. How's football? I saw you on the TV, man. Like anywhere you go, people are it's just you're the football player. You're the football. So once that dies, once that's over, you come around and be like, oh, what happened? Oh, I thought you was gonna play in the league. Oh, it's still about football. Now it's about what you didn't do, and now and it's just like there's so much more to me, and I don't know what it is yet. But I gotta go find it. So to me, it's just I think every young man needs an advocate. That's going to advocate for just your overall well-being in terms of like, hey, everyone's asking about this, I'm going to ask you about this. And to me, that's also having like great friends and great men around me, even as an adult, good homies that you connect with. So, but yeah, man,
I think you're finding it, coach.
definitely would want to have myself. Yeah,
I think you're on the verge of finding out who you are outside of who we were as football players, and it's there, right? And I
abs-
can't say that it happens overnight. And I can tell you I can tell you now it takes a long time to find. I'm still trying to find it. I'm still on the verge on the same way as you, man. But I appreciate you coming on today, and thank you Thank you for always keeping it 100 and keeping it real.
Absolutely. For sure. It's good talking to you, bro. I'll see you.